that's when I look back with satisfaction, because I was a good teacher, and I brought so much life into the classroom, brought alive, and would so probably teaching and being able to touch the future. That been in history, was able to teach history and government, loved my life, and I think when you're in a classroom and you love those subjects, it comes through to the students. When I was teaching, I was able to set up and do tours of Washington, D.C., New York, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Williamsburg. So every 2 years, I would take 7th and 8th graders to Washington, D.C. and do that little trip. Gettysburg, had it all worked out. And probably to go and take those young people and their parents. And sometimes the parents were more impressed than the young people. They didn't know what they were seeing. So probably to expose, to have plugged in to those young people and to their parents' life outside of Oklahoma, the history behind it. And it also then developed into a couple, 2 or 3 adult trips that I took called Family and Friends, where I had some cousins that were older. And I said, where would you like to go? Well, they picked out they'd like to go. They wanted to go to the East Coast, so I loaded a bunch of adults up, including some family, took them to the East Coast, and they'd never been there from Oklahoma before, nor do they want to go back to the East Coast, they said. And then the other cousin who I just lost in the last couple of years, he wanted to go see the giant redwoods. So we did a national park tour with those individuals. I think to know that I brought some joy there. I think working with the young people, very, very proud of my boys. Feel like I've raised them as a single mom. And looking back, they aren't perfect, none of us are, but the oldest is a physician in Portland, Oregon. This one lives next door. Greg, he's the mayor of our little town. And Greg has his master's in industrial psychology and was in Colorado working for Bombardier in their private jet service. And that job closed down a couple of years ago, 3 years ago now, 4. And he found himself trying to find work in Colorado. Nothing opened up. He tried to buy businesses. All the doors closed. So he packed his family up in a U-Haul in a car. And they come back home with the dog and a dead cat that died on the way. And they got here, and he said, I went to the backyard, and he said, I just stood there and started crying. Here I am at my mom's. Here I am where I left, how many years ago? And he said, Lord, are you sure this is where you want me to be? Because he didn't want to be here. He didn't want to be back at Crescent. He didn't want to be here. And so they lived with us until he was trying to get that transition of another job. Ended up finding a great job where he works at home. He bought an old building over here that for $4,000, got a loan on, has redone this old building over here. And he and his wife and 3 daughters live right over here. And his wife teaches here. His kids love it. He said, where else can you go and your kid can ride their bicycle to softball practice? So anyway, pride in those, pride in my husband, a good man, pride in my stepdaughters and those children. Just got some wonderful